Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ilmi Letter 1. Remembrance. My dear Ilmi friends, Ya Ali Madad. Remembrance has been given a lot of emphasis in Islamic faith and in our Ismaili Tariqah. On October 24th, 1986, Hazrat Imam Salawatullah Alayhi in Nairobi, Kenya emphasized the importance of remembrance in following words. Remember that faith is yours. Remember to practice your faith. Be regular in the practice of your faith. And remember that thinking of Allah is not restricted in time. You may think of your faith when you go to the office, when you come back from the office, when you are in public meetings. Nobody asks you what you are thinking about. You are free to think about your faith any time that you are awake, any time during your lifetime. And I say this to my Jamaat in Kenya, but also for the Jamaat in other parts of the world. Because in Islam, remembering is very important, and because the pressure of the industrialized society demand more and more of your time, and it is more and more difficult to find the time for every individual, and I know this, to practice his faith as regularly as he would wish. And I say this because within Islam, remembering is fundamentally important, whether it is for a second, a hundredth of a second, and an hour. But remember, and if you know your faith, you will find that this is a very fundamental part of the Islamic faith practiced by all Muslims. Remembrance in Arabic language is called zikr. To remember someone or something requires prior knowledge, but we have no conscious awareness of our creation or our soul. Pir Sadruddin Salawatullah Alayhi has said, Jire bhai re atma ram tame bada ginani, tari gat kene na jani ji. O living brother, know that your soul has the highest level of knowledge, but it hasn't been recognized yet. Additionally, Allah says in the wise Quran that we all are born from a single soul, Nafseen Wahida. O mankind, be careful of your duty to your Lord, who created you from a single soul, and from it created its mate, and from them twain hath spread abroad a multitude of men and women. Surah 4:1. Hence, each one of our soul, according to Pir Mabab, is fully aware of its Almighty Creator, Allah, and its duties. Surah Baqarah 2:156 says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Lo, we are Allah's, and lo, unto Him we are returning. Every soul has to tawan or karhan, willingly or unwillingly. Surah 9:53. Go back to its origin, the Almighty Lord. In the same context of this Quranic verse, our beloved Hazrat Imam Salawatullah Alayhi is guiding us to remember to practice our faith that is not restricted in time regardless of all the worldly pressures. In Islam, remembrance is vitally important, and zikr is one way to recall what is forgotten. To do zikr is to utter the word or ism, not mechanically or like a parrot, but with full understanding of its meaning. There are several types of zikr, like individual remembrance, zikr-i fard, collective zikr, zikr-i jamaat, open or allowed remembrance, zikr-i jali, and hidden remembrance, zikr-i khalfi, done in one's heart quietly. The process of remembrance can be difficult due to constant worldly pressures on our lives. Hazrat Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah Salawatullah Alayhi has said in his Farman, that it is difficult to stay in remembrance, yadgiri, as Satan is after you to get distracted. Only Hakikati Momin will be able to stay in remembrance. It is important to note that despite of our utmost desire to stay in remembrance, only the Hakiki Momin who meets the criteria or conditions will succeed. There are some conditions one has to follow in order to make it a habit. Now the question arises, why does one need to become a Hakiki Momin instead of simply staying in remembrance? One cannot stay in remembrance until he or she transforms his entire being. The need to transform comes from the realization that the worldly expectations hinder one's ability to stay in remembrance. As our present and living Imam, Nur Maulana Shah Karim Al Husaini Hazar Imam, Salawatullah Alayhi, in one of his farman has said, that faith and real life intertwine. They must intertwine, otherwise, the principles of Islam could tend to be eroded by the forces of modern life. In another farman, Mawla says, keep your faith as part of your everyday life and not an occasional entry into faith. That occasionality is not part of our tariqah of Islam. A true believer, Hakiki Momin, stays in constant remembrance through his intention, as the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that all the actions are based on one's intention, niyat. One has to be conscious of being with the word and intend to stay in remembrance through tasbih. After the intention, actions, amal, have to be looked at holistically. In religion, one's deeds are not limited to saying tasbih or isme azam. It requires one to be honest in his or her dealings, being respectful of others, speaking the truth, extending a helping hand to those in need, having an open mind and staying clear of judgment, refraining from speaking ill about others, quick to forgive and forget, being generous with money, time, and knowledge, staying content and positive in difficult times, seeking the true knowledge, Hakiki ilm, and making it a part of his daily life. Hence, religion is not limited to a word or remembrance, but rather in one's actions and ethics as well. The Holy Quran says, unto him ascends good words, and the good deed elevates it. Surah 35/10. This has been further elaborated by Hazar Imam Salawatullah Alayhi. In a meritocratic society, think of your role predicted not only on merit but on ethical principles. Because if you do not apply the ethical principles of our faith to your everyday lives, the concept of merit becomes falsified. And therefore, I would like that my Jamaat in India to be rigorous and disciplined in the practice of its faith and in the observation of the ethic of our faith. To stay in remembrance is to say the word, which represents faith, its principles and knowledge. Whatever the word may be, a tasbih or isme azam, it cannot reach the presence of Allah without good deeds. To remember is to call Allah as mentioned in the glorious Quran. Who is better in speech than one who calls to Allah and does good deed and says, Lo, I am of those who surrender to him. Surah 41/33. Therefore, not only the word, but also the action goes hand in hand to be a true believer, Hakiki Momin, who stays in constant remembrance. It is the action which leads to acceptance of the calling and not just the practice of saying the word or staying in remembrance. Once in Baitul Khayal Mandli, Hazar Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah Salawatullah Alayhi was asked about not being able to see the light, Nur, despite of regular meditation, Bandagi, in early morning hours, Nurani Waqt. His answer was that if one's actions are not pure, he cannot see the light, Nur. Therefore, it is crucial that the word must be accompanied by good deeds. In the 49th Jama, our Imam has said that, I have spoken to you extensively now on matters of the world, but I have repeatedly said to my Jamaat, do not forsake matters of faith. And it is important that you be regular in the practice of your faith. It is important that you apply in your lives the ethics of your faith. It is important that in your lives your faith be permanently present in the way you live. And this is easy to achieve because you have a tasbih with you. A true believer's calling is heard in Allah's court, so he can receive His divine help and mercy in worldly and spiritual matters. He is blessed with his ishq, the highest form of love the true moment strives for. His ibadat is blessed with enlightenment, as his actions and remembrance pleases the Almighty Allah. To summarize, following the ethics of Islam, along with fulfilling the duties of religion, will get the true believer, Hakiki Momin, closer to Allah. It is not important with what word you call him by, a tasbih or isme azam, but to call him constantly with purity in actions and thoughts. Additionally, it is important to know the meaning of the word being recited. All the names of Allah are pure and should be recited with utmost respect. Isme Azam is a word given by the Imam himself to those who want to elevate their souls by observing daily, early morning bandagi, meditation, as that's the best time to concentrate. However, anyone without Isme Azam can also sit in bandagi by choosing from the names of Imam as per Hazar Imam's farman. Lastly, one has to put his heart into calling Allah. Prayers, let it be in any form, said with humility and giryauzari, reaches the court, darbar of beloved much faster than prayers said mechanically like a parrot with dry eyes. Ya Ali Madad, needy of your prayers, your ilmi friends.